Hello, welcome. My name is Matt Carlson. I'm the principal at Orting High School, and it's a privilege and a pleasure to serve this community as high school principal. I wanted to talk to you for a few minutes today about something that's really important to me, near and dear to my heart. I live in this community, I work in this community, and I serve the kids of this community. And we need to pass a bond to support students in our community. The bond that's on the table November 4th is related to the construction of a new elementary school and a new wing for career and technical education here at the high school. I'm grateful that the school board, working with our CFAC committee and our superintendent, has even taken more consideration to pare this bond down to try and make it affordable for our local taxpayers, but meet the bare minimum needs we currently have in this district to support students with safety, security, job training through career and technical education, classroom spaces, in addition to creating spaces at both the elementary and high school where we can do intervention around academics, mental health, and substance abuse. I'm going to take you on a tour of our campus and show you some of the kind of hot points where we are currently struggling with growth in all of those areas, and try to detail for you some of the next steps that this bond will help us address. We know that it's a big ask. Times are tough, but this is one that I'm telling you, our kids desperately need this. Our kids are not getting what they need. Period, end of story. When our kids travel to other schools and see the facilities, the infrastructure, the classroom spaces where they get job training in high school for what's next, we're sorely lacking. It's literally because we don't have space. This building was built in the 1980s, and the upgrades through this bond will give us adequate space to prepare kids for industry. We have programs that we can meet those needs. We're just lacking facilities. I would love to see an opportunity to add to these facilities through this bond, and I want to encourage you to remember to vote on November 4th. Let's go on a tour. So the first place I wanted to take you is what we call our STEM lab. And I'm standing next to what used to be welding bays. This was a wood shop. This was built in the 1980s. It was designed to teach kids how to work with woodworking tools, primarily to lead into home projects. That was kind of the focus back then. In the mid-2000s, 2012, this shop was converted into a STEM lab because the aerospace industry was in desperate need of workers. And so we leveraged this space when our shop teacher retired to start to teach kids skills that would transfer into the workforce for the aerospace industry, which is one of the largest employers in our area. This welding spot is now a 3D printer. Currently, there's a project being printed here. Kids are learning how to take technology and computer programs and think around principles in science, technology, engineering, and math to build things and construct things that can lead to transferable skills in the workforce for a very, very important industry that will be high wage paying job. But we can't do both. This space is limited. We have one nice shop space in our school. We need more. We need to continue this program, and that's what this bond will do, is give us career and technical education space for STEM labs in the new wing, and then convert this space back to an egg mechanic shop where we can teach kids welding, woodworking, to get them prepared for the trades and the careers that exist in our back door around Orting, in the construction industry, in the maritime industry, in the welding industry. These are also high-paying jobs, and we need to be able to train kids to do both. We're going to stop next, and I'm going to show you some stuff that deals with safety and security, but this is really about career and technical education spaces and how important and vital this bond is to providing those spaces for our students. I'm really excited to talk to you about why I'm at this location. This spot right here, from my view as principal, is one of the biggest impacts related to growth, overcrowding, and the need for this bond around safety and security. I'm standing, obviously, in front of the Orting Elementary School sign, which is a shared campus space between elementary and high school. This breezeway is where elementary school kids are dropped off right in the middle of our first to second period passing. That means high school students, elementary school students are moving back and forth in this area, and it's very difficult to supervise, make sure conversations are correct, even with the adult presence we have from our elementary school staff. In addition, the playground for the elementary school is behind this green cloth. That green cloth was installed because we had so many interactions between high school and elementary school students that weren't appropriate. Moving the elementary school off this site will support safety and security of elementary school students. But another thing you see at this location is the impact that growth is having on our facilities and how we've had to respond by adding portable classrooms. I want to have you take a look at these island portables that are right behind us. We call them the island portables because they're floating out there in an island in our parking lot. A lot of people ask, why did we put the portables there? It's because we were trying to be good stewards with the taxpayers' money. Frankly, the stormwater runoff plan, by putting portables on top of a asphalted surface saved us a lot of money, and that's why we put the portables here, because we needed them to deal with the growth, we needed them to be cost effective, and we needed them to be portable and able to be moved later on if we adjust to continued growth. So having them out here in the front, while it's not ideal, it was the location that was best suited to be fiscal stewards and also deal with the growth that we have, because we had to give the West Wing majority of that space back to Orting Elementary School for classrooms. One of the things that this presents also is a challenge with safety and security as high school team, because we have students that are literally right next to a state highway. This bond that we're proposing to pass would create 200 CTE seats on this playground for career and technical education, which would allow us to put more capacity into the existing elementary school for high school classrooms, moving us further away from the highway, potentially when the elementary school is built down the road. So the bond will address some of those needs with safety, security, mixing two campuses together in one space, and also help us deal with overcrowding while creating those career and technical education spaces right here in this location. So we're standing here in the culinary classroom, and this is a space that will also be addressed through the bond. What you see behind me is a home economics classroom that was originally designed for students to get education in how to be a homemaker, how to cook and prepare foods at home. And what's happened over the last 20 years as career and technical education frameworks and service industry experts have weighed in, they've said we need to prepare kids for jobs in the workplace. And the service industry in Pierce County is one of the largest employers. What we don't have the ability to do in this current space is teach them how to use commercial kitchen or have standards in this space that allow them to prep food at a commercial level. A lot of that has to do with the way that the infrastructure was laid out in this space related to sinks, hand wash station. We weren't considering health department codes in the 1980s that we need to consider now in 2025. So when the bond came around, one of the things I was really excited they added was that this space would no longer be looked at as a remodel, because it's very expensive to remodel this space. There's not adequate ventilation. The water system would all have to be changed, the electrical system to provide commercial. But that would happen down at the CTE wing where the new STEM and science labs would be, that we would rather build that space fresh down there and then convert this space to an agricultural science lab, which would partner with our FFA and our agricultural classes so that we have a classroom other than a portable for animal science, plant soil science to take place in combination with our greenhouse and our egg mechanic lab, which we envision would be across the hall in the STEM lab. So we could have our shop space for egg sciences here with a classroom connected that has all the things that are needed for lab space, and move this down to the new CTE wing where the existing playground is at Orting Elementary School. So where I have taken you now is to what we call the counseling center. The counseling center was originally the main office for Orting High School, again, that was built in the 1980s. This room was the original staff lounge where teachers would eat lunch. The principal's office was just down the hall this way. In this space, there are 5 offices, 2 of which have been constructed over the last 10 years as makeshift office spaces to support students here in the counseling center, not just with our school counselors, our school psychologist, our high school and beyond specialist, but also outside service providers who come in to do substance abuse, mental health support, and not to even mention the spaces we need for academic intervention, one-on-one small groups with kids. This space was not designed for that purpose. We've been repurposing it and redesigning it and doing our best over the last 10 years. But the needs of students have grown and changed and adapted since 1983. A new elementary school will allow spaces across the street where the current elementary school is to be utilized by our high school campus for support services for our students. When the elementary moves off-site, if the bond passes, then we get to gain access to more spaces to use in addition to classrooms to support our students in a variety of ways, given the needs of students and teenagers in this day and age.